I'm sorry to be the one that has to tell you this, Tommy, but I'm afraid the board of directors has decided not to renew your contract. No. This is going to hurt me more than it's going to hurt you, Tommy. There's no easy way to tell you this, Tommy, so I'm just going to come right out and say it. Come in.
You want to receive me, Mr. McCann?
Come in, Tommy. Have a seat.
So, what did you want me for, Mr. President?
There's no easy way to tell you this, Tommy, so I'm just going to come right out and say it. Cheerio, 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 cheerio,
Buongiorno.
Buongiorno.
I'm a Russo.
I'm a Geordie.
Right, I'm going to teach you how to speak English like me, okay? Girl. Hurl. Hurl. Purst. Oh, bloody hell.
As far as the finals go, I'm still deciding, and I'm certainly aware of media pressure, but I feel Neil McCann is the poor man's Ryan Giggs, Robbie Winters is the poor man's Alan Shearer, and Chick Charnley is the poor man's own fault.
Those are birds.
As far as I'm concerned, Tommy McLean has every right to say what he feels, as have I. But I've a job to do, as I see. His is to run his team. Mine is to report the facts the way I see them, which is, more often than not, the way I do it. And if I've said something he thought wasn't good, well, words fail me.
Nicknames? Well, the lads here, they call me Ruth, because they reckon that I sound like Ruth off EastEnders and that, In fact, they say that I should have signed for the Rangers there because, then I'd be playing alongside Marco Negri, and I'd have been up the front going, Marco, 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 Marco.
And we've just heard from Walter Smith that we can't interview any Rangers players this week. Cheers, mate. That's 25 minutes of the show down the stank.
Welcome to a rather sombre sports scene as we contemplate and reflect upon the terrible news that Walter Smith is to quit Rangers. Tonight's show will feature Rangers heavily, so no change there. But next week, we'll be screening a Friday night sports scene on Tuesday. Walter Smith, God, the glory years, except for Europe. And I believe we'll see a little bit of that now. Can we? No, we can't. Well, in that case, let's move on to Chick's back page.
Coming up on the show tonight, Ali McCoist, Paul Gascoigne, Walter Smith, and yet another exclusive interview with David Murray in a special edition of Sports Scene called Teleprodies. Walter Smith, OBE, oh brilliant entity. Andy Gorham's fitness over the season, he still has that problem with a couple of stones.
Well, that's right, Chick. You can't keep them inside his wise.
No, it's about to play. We have Celtic's bad start to season, and I ask players to go home and take a long, hard look at themselves in the mirror. Except for Stephen Mahy, I couldn't be that cruel.
Well, I was back home recently, and I was listening to the Old Firm match on the radio there, I'm not letting on who I'm supporting, no. But anyway, the Rangers had just scored, right? And I was jumping about the room. I had to ask, why are there 4 men in the Radio Clyde commentary box? And then I realised, Derek Johnson's there to explain what's happening to the Rangers fans. David Provan's there to explain what's happening to the Celtic fans. And Hughie Keevans is there to explain what's happening to Dougie McDonald.
Hello and welcome to another 90 minutes of red-hot soccer chat. 606, your chance to air your views, so give us a call. And tonight we want to hear especially from some Scotch fans up there in Scotchland. And don't worry, if you call in, I won't patronise you or pretend I dinny ken wit your honour boot ken the new. So give us a call. Now, why do you think, for example, Craig Brown always sounds so nervous? Who is Craig Burley's dentist, and should he be sacked? And it would be nice tonight to hear from some lady fans. Always nice to hear those lady voices on the programme. And, of course, it does save me ringing the 0891 numbers later on.
Rooney. Oh, some of that. It was the fairy tale final, the family final, the people's final. The Let's Watch Quincy on STV instead final. Kilmarnock versus Falkirk. David versus David. Minnows given a makeover. Glamour Minnows. Kylie Minnow meets Danny Minnow. Yes, every underdog must have its day. And as these reservoir underdogs locked teeth in an underdog day afternoon, Falkirk's streets were deserted. The locals crammed into pubs and crowded round tellies with carryouts. In many ways, just another Saturday. Meanwhile, in Kilmarnock, the suggestion was that the only people not at the match were the members of the town's 93 Rangers supporters clubs. The game itself failed to live up to expectations as expected. In refusing to select Robert Pritz, Killie boss Bobby Williamson robbed the viewers at home of a really good laugh. And deprived the Kilmarnock fans for a day of a player they'd heard of. Falkirk, on the other hand, were making history as the first ever over 35s team to reach a major final.
Well, drama here because, it's a penalty kick has been given, and of course now under the revision of the rules, the goalkeeper, of course, is free to move around on the goal line. So let's see if that makes a difference this afternoon. Oh, I say, well, look at that. Well, 9.9 for artistic impression, certainly.
Well, as I say, I mean, everyone, is looking forward to the World Cup in 1998, Apart from England, who are always looking back to the World Cup of 1966, And okay, we draw Brazil, but, there we have it. I mean, they have some marvellous players, but that's only because there are so many Brazilians in the team, But it is, like the boy, oh, what a player he is, eh? Ronald, Here's him.
And finally on my junket, recent trip to France for the World Cup draw, I happened to meet who else but none other than, you guessed it, one Edson Arantes do Nascimento. That's right, Eusebio. And I also met Pelé too. And he said he thinks Scotland can qualify for the second stage. What was quite astonishing about Peltzo's prediction was that he hadn't been drinking. And what was really astonishing was, neither had I.
Charlie, France 98. It's a real knicker-wetter, isn't it, mate?
Oui, la chat est sur la mer, which is French. But Scotland have to be careful and get this right. Let the boss be the leader, because too many cooks spoil the broth.
There's no smoke without fire.
No noodles without soya sauce.
A Mars a day helps you work, rest and play.
Ah, Bisto.
Have a break. Have a Kit Kat.
Don't sign until you've seen Living Design.
Oh, body form for you. Finally, Charlie, what about David Beckham?
I know what you're going to say, Jim. Posh spice. But stranger things have happened. But as far as I can see, Manchester United and the Spice Girls have nothing in common.
Apart from the fact they're both a bunch of overrated fannies.
Of course, having worked with the Spice Girls, people always say to me, Posh Spice and those mad staring eyes, what's she on? Well, the answer, of course, is David Beckham.
But of course, the World Cup will be, I feel, a very difficult competition for England to win, simply because, and I think this is perhaps unfair, they do have to play all their matches away from home.
Oh, I'm a right character. A bit of a joke. I'm always taking the piss out of players, apart from Merrick Bo Anderson. I gave the piss to him.
Well, I reckon Paul can play at the top level for maybe another 2 or 3 years, you know, and if he stays in Scotland, then 9 or 10.
Well, it was real blood and thunder stuff from the word go, really, Gary, wasn't it? I mean, tackles were crashing in and players were going at it hammer and tongs, they really were. It was a gutsy, bruising encounter for sure. And when you see some of those challenges, particularly from the likes of Chick Charnley, it really does make you wonder, you know, how I survived in the game for so long.
These areas, once heavily industrialised, mainly by heavy industry, were the breeding ground for the football men. And of that breed, these guys were the ready sliced Hovis. Steen, Busby, Shankly. For these men, it wasn't just about winning, it was about something else. Something I'd love to tell you about, but that's the pub's open.
People would say to me, what are the secrets of Liverpool's success? And I'd say, Tommy Smith had a ruggedness you'd never tire of admiring. Roger Hunt had a goal touch you'd never tire of seeing. And Emlyn Hughes had a face you'd never tire of punching.
Dennis Law. Dennis had the reactions of a mongoose on speed. Unfortunately, he spoke like a mongoose on speed.
There we have it. Of course, you know, when we reach the final, here's hoping, you know, I mean, we'll have to go to Paris. It's a beautiful city, Paris. It really is. It's steeped in history. The Hunchback of Notre Dame. He's a sort of 16th century Peter Beasley, you know. And Emile Zola. Oh, what a book he wrote, eh? Jacuzzi. And what about Les Miserables? What a player he was, I tell you.
I see Desperate Dan's been freed. I wonder if he's got a Scottish granny.
Craig Brown. Craig Brown. Can a sensible wee teetotaling middle-aged middle-class teachery teacher become Scotland's most successful international manager? Honest to God, I hope no. I've a dewy-eyed myth to perpetuate here.
But back to the World Cup, and I saw Craig Brown very recently, actually, and I said to him, Craig, you're going to France then? He said, yes, Toulouse. I said, yes, I expect you will.
Yeah, look, Walter, I understand you've got important games coming up, you know, but so is Australia, you know. We've got a big game coming up against Guam, and basically, you know, I need the lad Vidmar.
I keep telling you, I'm not releasing Tony Vidmar unless you take Craig Moore as well. Yes, and no doubt about it, for certainty, that was a bookingable offence. The lad should count himself thankfully still in the park. Yes, without a shadow of a question, for me, Walter Smith was the light at the heart of Rangers as its fundament that shone so brightly, only to have been brutally extinguished, albeit in 5 months' time. When you look at what Walter's achieved at Irish, not so much his achievements as to what the guy's actually done. His record is his legacy, and that speaks volumes for itself in spades. That's the balance of the man's stature. Top notch, right out the top drawer. Top quality. But other than that, he's been a disappointment.
Virgin boss Richard Branson is set to buy Partick Thistle. Branson was attracted to the club because he's used to dealing with plummeting balloons.
Do I care about the environment? Me? I'd shag the hole in the ozone layer. No. No, he's for it, but... Oh, no. I'm not going to win off William. Oh, no. What are you talking about? Could not be. Maybe he's aye, maybe he's not. It's good to mumble.
You know, I think our game in Tromsø was a disgrace, actually. You know, I look out and I say, you know, what is happening here? Is this a snowstorm, perhaps? Or, you know, has Maradona sneezed? Actually, but, you know, when I comes home, they say, what is the problem? You know, they just don't see it. And I say, why don't you see it? And they say, because it was on Channel 5.
Bin this nonsense now. What's all this jiggery-pockery about a breakaway league? Surely we can do better than having our Premier Football League called after a chocolate biscuit.
Victory in Cup final was so important to club like Celtics. There was even talk of life peerage for the chairman. He planned to call himself Lord McCann of Coca-Cola.
Yeah, you know, at Celtic, we're always looking to the future, so we've opened a museum. The players have donated photographs of, like, their career highlights, and I've donated x-rays of some of my injuries.
You know that Scottish team? What do you call them? Hibs. That's the one. I saw them, you know, and they've got a lad there called John Mark Bocco. And as a player, you know, he's like a cross between a Dutchman and an Italian. The Dutchman that he looks like is Ruud Gullit, but sadly the Italian that he plays like is Joe Tortolano.
Right, well, a great start to the season for the Hibees. Top of the league, looking totally unlike Hibs, right up until the end of August. There was even talk of Charlie for Scotland. And then, sadly, it was back to the Hibs we all know and love. Total pish. Charlie, Jim Duffy, best young manager in Scotland, or just another overrated conehead?
All credit to James. He's done a magnificent job of building a team of top-quality ex-Wraith Rovers players. Don't forget, or even remember, they did beat Celtic, but they had an advantage that day. They hardly knew each other, so weren't fully aware of how bad they all actually were.
What a cunning stunt.
But can I just say, in spite of what you might think, I do actually know quite a lot about Scottish football. In fact, last week I went to watch Dunfermline play up there in Dunfermline, and I was very impressed. I really was. I saw a move involving 17 passes before someone in the terracing kicked the ball back onto the pitch and we got on with the game.
So, Rangers going well, but Jerry, you've a few reservations about Marco Negri, right, mate?
Affirmative. I just think a smile every now and again wouldn't go amiss. He's scoring goals, he's earning a lot of money. Walter Smith must take big, moody Boz aside and explain to him that football is a joyous game. Let's see evidence of some enjoyment. Let's see football played with a smile on its face. Quite frankly, his attitude is a disgrace. Bin this nonsense now.
So, not enough smiles in football. Well, Jerry, that's good coming from you.
Marco, it might be an idea if you refrain from the habit of crossing yourself at Ibrox.
Why? For the Ranger? Why is this important? This is my religion. It's my faith. This Marco believe. You ask me to deny my belief.
Here is your first week's paycheck.
Sure it is old and it is beautiful and it's always fine already. That's it.
Don Revy, right? He was another one. Don Revy, right? Don Revy. Before a game, right? He used to compile his dossiers. He used to compile dossiers, right? Then Roy Aitken, he did a similar thing at Aberdeen, right? He just compiled a load of dossiers.
Just make sure he signs.
It's all worked out terribly for Tommy Craig.
We've had a letter this week from someone wanting betting odds explained to them. For example, Rangers were recently quoted at 16 to 1 on to win the league, and Aberdeen at 100 to 1 against. And they want an explanation as to what on and against means. Right, I'll do a Gillen Carruthers here and I'll stick my neck out and try. If you walk into a bookies and put £16 on Rangers, it means you'll win £1 if they win the league. If you walk into a bookies and put £1 on Aberdeen, it means you're Frank McGarvey.
I can honestly say, I mean, I can give Burns a triple orgasm by just looking at him, you know? Here, I'll show you. Don't worry, boys. They'll come round in time before the bells, you know, but...
I'm delighted. It's always been my ambition to leave the European champions and join a great big giant club like Celtic. I'm delighted. I'm over the moon. Hogmanay back.
Can I just say something here? Italy versus England. Yeah, for sure. It was a tough one. But they knew before they went what to expect. You've got to hurry. You've got to close men down. Show them you mean business. And always be aiming to hit them with a killer blow. So I'd say, yeah, for sure. The Italian police did a great job.
Yeah, I think one of my biggest regrets in football, you know, was not having a very good nickname. You know, because being called Stubbs, you just get like Stubbsy or Stubbo. And there's been some crackers over the years, you know, like Zico, he was known as the White Pele. And we call Reggie Blinker the Black Brian McLaughlin.
Bruce Rioch has described Alan Stubbs as the new Bobby Moore, so Celtic players be warned and don't leave any jewellery lying around the dressing room.
If I had a choice, I'd have gone to Bordeaux. I would have. Yeah, I really would have. Yeah. You know the amazing thing about Bordeaux? It's written Bordeaux.
It's true, but it's pronounced Bordeaux. Strange but true. Explain that, Michael Aspel, eh? The other thing about Bordeaux is they produce 660 million bottles of wine per year. Of course, in Scotland, we've got Coatbridge, where they drink 660 millions of bottles of wine per year, you know, but...
Right. We're only halfway through the season, but already the big question is, which Rangers player will be Scotland's Player of the Year? Will it be Brian Laudrup, Richard Gough, or Andy Gorham?
So, Kenny, you know, talking about managers. And for me, managers are born, not made. Do you go along with that?
Could be. Could not be.
You know, it's a talent, isn't it? A rare gift that only a few can have.
Maybe it's aye. Maybe it's no.
So, do you reckon I could be a manager?
No. Does Fergus McCann know anything about football? He thought his telly was a blue cream. Yeah, for sure. I'm totally committed to it. Well, Benfica. Yeah, I'm totally committed to Benfica.
I think we'd be making great strides with the team. I mean, we've got Brian O'Neill down to just 3 crucial errors per match. Oh, firm fans take note. Hearts mean business, and they could win the league. What a load of fish.
And these are stables. Stables. You know, every time I think of stables, I think of Christmas. And Mary and Joe and the Wayne and one of these. With the ass and the ox and the sheep and the shepherds. Must have smelt boofing. This is a horse here, by the way. Beautiful, isn't it? Magnificent. You taking the piss here?